part out the furniture because they were downsizing for sure. Ginger's mom was in the last moments of her life, and her play was about to end. And he looked at me and he said, "Kurt, is there anything that you would like from my library or from my office?" And I said, "Sure, I wouldn't mind having a couple of those books." Some things from Charles Haddon Spurgeon, an old letter that he had written. But I tell you what, I would love to have your pulpit. He said, "It's yours." I told him, I said, the reason why I love that pulpit is that I preached one of my very first sermons behind it. And when he gave it to me, he said, "Whatever you do, when you use it, just stand for Jesus." In fact, I don't know if you know this or not, but there is a little red mat that is on top of this ancient, hundreds of years old, decorative pulpit that doesn't fit the modernity of our auditorium, but the message still does. Not only are there some Christian symbols of Alpha and Omega and the cross, but there is stitched these words, "Jesus is Lord." And every time I stand in this pulpit, that message is in front of me, that Jesus is Lord. And I want you to know that as long as God gives me the opportunity to pastor and preach, it will be from this pulpit that my father-in-law preached from for years. Because by preaching in back of it, it honors his memory. And I remember and still miss his voice and impact in my life, but it still lives on. I also think about Calvin Miller. Calvin Miller was the first pastor of our church, Westside. In fact, he took our denominational name off our church and just had our church go by Westside Church before that was even cool to do. He was a cutting-edge, Renaissance kind of guy. I don't know if you remember Calvin. Many of you did. He had a heart of an evangelist, and I've heard story after story how when he would take the visitors' cards from Sunday, and he would go and knock doors. And what he would do, if you let him in, he would come in, take his boots off, prop them up on the coffee table, and just talk to you like family and make sure you knew Jesus.